you guys?
Hey.
Back again, your girl Nia J.
And Pamela Nicole.
And this is another official episode of
Dynasty Queens.
You guys, we are super excited. We have the lovely, talented, beautiful Eli Lu Twins. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you so much for having us. We're excited to be here.
Good to hear. But before we get into everything, I did want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor today. We have Social Media Blast Off. It's a great platform to get you started and increase your following on social media platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, YouTube as well. Also, our music platforms like Apple Music, Tidal, and Spotify. And right now, if you sign up and create a free account, you'll get 25% off to get started with everything. Just go ahead and check out socialmediablastoff.net.
Check them out, guys.
For sure.
Right. Ladies. So if y'all could tell me a little bit about your background and growing up here in Philly. And you both can answer individually. You don't have to.
Yes. All right. So we're straight from West Philadelphia, Overbrook High School area, born and raised. And I know that's cliche. Everywhere we go, that's the first thing people say. But no, we're West Philly based. But we started Eli Lu Entertainment in was 2009?
Okay.
2009.
Yes.
Wow.
A long time.
It's definitely been a minute. So 2009, and we started out doing stage plays, which kind of turned into us doing films, and we still do stage plays, screenplays, just everything entertainment. But most of our work is based on thought-provoking content. And then in addition to that, we are also spoken word artists.
Mm-hmm.
We now say spoken word hip hop because just within the last 2 years, we turned a lot of our spoken word pieces into hip hop tracks. And so our latest project was called Sound Mind, where we did 12 films that correspond with 12 tracks. Mm-hmm. We didn't want to just do music videos, so we wanted to do something a little bit more creative. But again, our work is based off of like thought-provoking content. So as spoken word artists, we were like, let's do something, creative. So it took us 2 years, but we had 150 actors and talent from the Philadelphia, Jersey area. So
wow. Very
it was a nice journey.
Yes.
So
Absolutely. Could y'all elaborate a little bit on that content, like that spoken word content, like when you guys are putting that together? What does that look like? What does that entail?
Right, that's a really good question. So everything that we do has to have a message for the most part, and it doesn't matter what it is. So we can use thriller, we can use comedy. So it doesn't matter what the genre is. We just like, okay, we want to do something funny, but it's still going to have a message. And the message usually can reach people where they are, whether it's domestic violence or just poverty or, all these different things that we deal with in life. We like to use our art to reach people in that way. And also blending stuff that don't match. For example, like we couldn't just do film or spoken word or rap. We just, and dance. So we just blended all these different arts together to come up with this project. Even with our stage play, we did a spoken word stage play, and the entire thing is in spoken word. Where the whole thing rhymes from beginning to end. But people don't, once you sit through it, you don't really realize that we're still rhyming a whole 30 minutes later. So we like to blend arts and things that people say, well, what is a spoken word stage play? So marketing that was hard, but we had a good turnout and result. It was called Broken Tables. So a lot of our work is just thought-provoking. It's creative and it's artsy. So I think to also answer your question, just growing up in Philly, there's a lot of things that we saw in the neighborhood that we just wanted to, to touch on and tackle those issues.
Yeah, I got you.
And so as spoken word artists, we just naturally, write it down. Like when I see something that bothers me, I'm more creative. I kind of handle things that way.
Gotcha.
In terms of pain and all that. So we're like, let's just put it in arts,
I think that's a beautiful way of expressing oneself. Especially when you're in an environment where you have to kind of make sure that you can get by and deal with what's going on around you.
It's therapeutic. Art.
Yes.
Right. Absolutely.
That's definitely art. Yeah. I did want to ask too, since we, they say with twins, y'all typically have the same kind of thought process. I would like y'all to go ahead and just tell us a little bit. Do y'all have the same kind of creative mind, or y'all are pretty much opposites? How do y'all operate? Tell me a little bit about yourselves.
We are really identical in our thought process. So we have differences. People are like, oh, you guys do everything together. So I have my business partner in my pocket. Right? But I think in college we were writing a stage play, right? And I was up till 2 a.m. and I couldn't take it anymore, so I fell asleep. And then I passed the script off to her, and then we had a script reading. So I never read her part, but I knew that she was going to write the right things. I was
Oh,
like, the part you wrote was great, and I didn't,
Wow.
you know, I didn't trust that.
She can put it down, I pick it up, and it'll flow as if one person wrote it. So
Oh,
I remember after the
nice.
script, and she's like, "That scene was great." I'm like, you know, so it was after everybody else had read it. You know,
Oh, wow.
You know how in college
Yeah.
right. I think that's
we don't do that now, but
That is-
that's how we kind of started our process.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is such an interesting gift to have because it really shows the power that y'all had because y'all shared a womb together, obviously. So it's like some of that same, you know,
That energy is
that
there.
energy, that cosmic flow, the brain activity is going.
Right.
I love it. I love it. I'm here for it.
It's like
Awesome.
two separates but one spirit, you know?
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm hearing that one. I'm like,
That's a good one for me.
That's better than people hitting ones when and be like, "Could you feel it?" No, I felt that.
Not that far, right? Almost, but
a
not
little
that far.
safer, a little safer.
So I'm going to take it away from music for a second. Well, my question for you guys is, I know you guys are very educated women. So I saw you guys had degrees in architecture. So I need to know, guys, what's the correlation? How did you guys go from that field, or at least pursuing that, to the music, the spoken word? Like, what was the, how did that happen?
You know what I always say? I think when you have a passion for something, it follows you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, you know, just growing up naturally in Philly, you always hear art and it's not going to get you anywhere. And so, you know, we took the technology route. We went to, we got our bachelor's degree in computer science, minor in aviation, and then we graduated, went off to grad school, and we still was in the tech field, and we were doing information architecture for websites and mobile app design.
Ah.
And through it all, we still were doing, like, stage plays and web shows on campus.
Nice.
And so our entire family thought we went to school for film or entertainment. Everyone thought, including, I had a professor in aviation who was like, I think graduation day, he was like, "I thought you were in our program." I was like, no. And everybody thought we were in these different programs. But the reality of it is that your passion just follows you. And so in Indiana, we submitted for a national film competition, and we actually quit 2 a.m. You had to create a film in only a week.
Oh,
And everything seemed to fail. And so I remember we quit, and I never missed class, but that one day I said, I got to get this edited. Because nothing was working out. And we submitted, and we forgot
the
about
same class, so I went to class while
Yeah.
she finished.
Missing one class in grad school was like missing a week.
Yeah.
So I was like, crap, I can't do this. But Lou, take the notes. And so she went, and I guess I was sick that day.
That's like some sister. That's some sister stuff.
for real.
Right. And then almost the competition, they go around to all these different universities throughout the year. So it's not like you find out right away. You have to wait almost like 7 months. So we forgot about it. And just so happens we didn't fly out to Los Angeles. It was in Hollywood. And I saw on Twitter, first place, you know, Eli Lu. And so after that, it just kind of took off in terms of our film, you know, filmmaking
It was like
career.
confirmation.
It was like confirmation, not to quit, not to give up.
Wow.
And we didn't have that much, you know, money.
Right.
Just to be transparent, and then the award came with money, so we were able to get more film equipment.
Love it.
Right.
So yeah, so since then we won numerous, you know, film awards, and then we came back to Philly and just hit the ground running. So now we run the Philadelphia Film Factory.
Oh,
here in Philly.
Congratulations.
Actually, with what you were just ended with, I know you guys have written and produced like short films and screenplays. What's y'all's favorite short film that you've produced, and then possibly the screenplay?
That's hard. That is really hard because I'll get in trouble picking one.
I know.
I mean, Sound Mime is the spoken word hip hop project that we did with 12 short films and 12 poetic hip hop tracks. So. Not that I can pick the entire project because it's filled with a bunch of short films.
Right.
But that project was really special just by, you know, we created these films with just one camera, I think a Tascam recorder and 3 lights. And we had a very small team. So the fact that we were able to get 150 talent and crew in Philly to work on this project is really special. But the messages that people got out, some people were, you know, it was so many different, we dealt with like death or forgiveness and so many different topics that the range was so dynamic that when people come to us, it's like, okay, I saw this, and we had a film on dream about picking your dream back up. You know, we get older and we put things down when we're like, I have work, I have kids, I have a job, all these different things. So I think I'm gonna go with that film. I'll run around the world, but I'm going with that film. It's called Sincerely Dream, and it just pretty much, you know, reminds the older us of the dreams we had as children and to pick our dreams back up. So I'm gonna go with Sincerely.
Okay.
I'm gonna also go with
No.
Man, out of the films, can I pick a stage play? Can I do that? Or is that
the question was both, but sure.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
sure.
That's fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say our spoken word stage play, Broken Tables, just because of the impact that it had on the audience.
Okay.
We got a lot of people that were looking for their sons, their daughters, family members they haven't talked to in a while. So I think when you create art and it impacts people in that way,
Yes.
I think that's the thing that I go for, because that's what are we doing it for if it's not if it's not touching people in the way that we think when we set out to do it. And so we had a lot of fathers. I think that was something. A lot of men, a lot of black men and fathers. I don't want to say all, but a lot of times we don't talk. We don't talk about that family thing or the fact that because we were raised by our grandparents, so that whole broken family thing we know all too well. And so to have fathers, connect with their sons after the play, I thought that was amazing. So,
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
yeah, I had to put that.
I think as artists of spoken word and the things that you ladies are doing, that's beautiful, because a lot of people, once they start to, I guess, blow up or make an impact, they lose that aspect of why they started in the first place. So it seems like you guys are really in touch with who you are, the essence of why you do what you do.
They're very humble too.
Very humble. I
The
like
essence
that.
of why. That was deep.
Yeah. I mean, that's
it's
important.
easy to forget
Because
when
you see
you're doing
people-
arts. Well, because that's part of the reason why we started everything. Was because it's so much content out here, but it's not enough content with the conscious, thought-provoking messages that we want to hear. So it's like, if it's not out there, we're going to create it. And then working with the youth in Philly, they need it. They need it
for sure.
content and whatnot. And I think that's what's missing. And just naturally, I think poets, we tend to write stuff that people be like, oh, that's deep or that's dark. But because, growing up, we would write a lot of dark content just naturally from being raised by our grandparents and not having enough money. So, but those were the years when we would keep it hidden. So now it's like, let's put it out there.
there.
It's a release. Right, it's a release, right.
Yes. I did want to actually touch a little bit on, y'all have a cipher that I love, but they don't care. Y'all really, it's a jam, like, it's a whole jam, like, and, it touched me so much, just y'all reflecting on, police brutality and the Black community.
Right.
And being from Philly and seeing the gun violence that's been going on, what are your plans as far as influencing in a positive way with the community? What do y'all have as far as plans?
Yeah, this has literally been a topic all week long. And I know you guys know just as much as anybody in the city, the climate right now for crime and shootings. Especially, I still can't get my mind over either 14-year-old dying or a 14-year-old shooting. Right. Or anybody, but just that age range is crazy. But we were in our brainstorming bag all week long about how to tackle this from a music and film standpoint.
Yes.
That, because, on one end, the cipher was about, us police brutality and, people killing us, but we're also, killing us. So how do we reach us and to, bring it back to the table?
Right.
But yeah, we're definitely, I actually wrote a few raps already.
Oh,
about,
nice.
So I was like, wait,
on the way here.
I was like,
that.
did you guys know? But yeah, I've been writing a lot. I can always tell when my spirit is moved by something because I write more. So
So in addition to that, I mentioned we run the Philadelphia Film Factory. We're working on a program for at-risk youth and then youth just in general, which also includes young adults, because I think a lot of times our young adults get left out. People who are 19, 20, 21.
Right,
we just kind of throw our kids out there and say, go.
Right, that's
They need the help too.
You're 18, get out.
Yeah.
But I believe that the arts is a strong tool to help this. I think, going to Overbrook High School, by the time we got there and we graduated in 2008, but everything, they had to go to arts out of school.
Oh.
And so, going to school and stuff, is like, what are you waking up to? What are you, you're passing poverty on the way to school, but there's nothing exciting when you get there. So what we're trying to do is, if the schools aren't going to, have it in our schools or they don't have enough funding and money, then the Philadelphia Film Factory, we're turning it into a nonprofit this year. So that we can go after grants and things, and then we can serve our community a little bit more in terms of targeting that gun violence. I think that youth just don't have enough to do, to be honest. And I think the pandemic made it worse, not having that outlet, that access to film cameras or recording equipment. And so film is 200 rows on a film set, from catering on down to greenery. So what we're trying to do is I think that will also help with jobs.
Yes, for sure.
And then help with the creativity and let them tell their own stories.
Right.
So that's what we're planning right now. It's a process.
Love that.
It's hard pushing it because a lot of people don't believe in the arts. But by Philadelphia being an arts and culture city, I think it's time for a wake-up call for the city to start tapping into what we're doing.
Right,
in arts.
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. And to kind of continue, that was going to be one of my questions. You mentioned the pandemic and it affecting, you know, the people that you guys are trying to touch, you know, the next generation. But did you guys get any like creativity sparks, you know, in the brain, you know, while you're sitting idle, you know, when this stuff first started happening? Everybody was on lockdown.
Yes.
So what was going on in those brains, those symmetrical brains of y'all?
We got symmetrical. We got shut down like everyone else in the beginning. We had Sound Mind was actually supposed to be in the flesh, and we had
It took us 6 months to plan.
6 months to find a theater.
And the pandemic.
It took us almost a year to plan it because of course. Eli Lu can't do anything small. Our team was like, you guys gotta be so grand all the time. So we were trying to have, you know, I never get to see the Philadelphia actors come together.
Yeah.
So you got 150 actors. I was like, well, it's gonna be a big crowd. So let's do a dinner. Let's have you know, everybody come and watch this 2-hour, you know, project. And the same week we sold tickets. It's the same week we had to return the money that we were making from the show. So of course that was a low blow because the pandemic happened.
Of course.
But we had to figure out how to pivot. And that was what we learned through the pandemic. So we're also digital designers for Waco Theater Center in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Led by our co-assistant directors, Richard Lawson and Miss Tina Knowles Lawson. And we did a poetry show, I think, virtually. And that turned into an online show called I Got the Mic. So we actually weren't idle.
So look, she corrected you guys.
She did.
We figured it out. We were idle in the first few months. Because film,
you know, creators can't sit still.
Right.
And it was something we've never done before. Like we were dealing with green screen. We were dealing with, you know, we're filming in Philly. They're in Los Angeles. And we ended up having a global talent show, pretty much.
Wow.
From Ghana. It was like
that's amazing.
It was amazing. The time zone was interesting because we were like 9 a.m. and someone's like 2 a.m. and we're like trying to figure out how to make it work.
Coordinate that.
It gave wordsmiths an opportunity to express themselves through the pandemic and all the things that we were going with. And it was amazing. I think we have some episodes coming up. So
nice.
Wonderful.
So it was a blessing in disguise,
yes.
wasn't it?
Yes.
So I know you ladies mentioned your affiliation with the Lawsons, with Mr. Lawson and Miss Tina. So how did you guys meet the Lawsons? And by the way, for those who don't know, Miss Tina is a Beyonce's mama, okay? So how do you guys, where did that stem from?
Yeah, so I'll keep the long story short.
Okay.
But we're actually in grad school, and the beautiful thing about our background in technology is that we always found a way to make it meet our passion in film. So in short, I had to create a website, and I wanted to be related to film, so I would be like passionate about whatever I was creating. Right. And I had reached out to Richard Lawson Studios. Richard has an acting class at acting school in Los Angeles. I wanted to redesign the website, and I reached out, and he responded. And this was on Facebook, so I didn't really expect him to respond. Wow. And he actually called it like himself. And since then, we became the graphic designers for Waco Theater Center in Los Angeles. But I think we started 2 years doing graphic design, 2 years for Miss Tina and Richard, and then when Waco Theater Center was birthed, we became the digital designers for that as well. But since then, we've worked on a lot of projects. I Got the Mic is one, film, Black Terror that we are actually post-production supervisors on and creative producers on. So it's been growing. So we started out in doing websites and graphic design, now film. So like, you know, that's kind of how we got here. Working on that project.
A little elevation.
Step up the ladder. Okay. Going up the ladder.
That's how you do it. Right. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, it's been a beautiful journey because the Waco Theater Center, similar to what we do here with Mill Creek, is that it's really catered to the underserved. You know, the areas in Los Angeles. We give a lot of youth opportunities. I think in the program there's about 100 students that the Lawsons and the team watch from like 14 to like some of them are going to college now. A lot of them are going to college or some type of secondary school. And so that's kind of what you want. It's really a lot of mentorship and you know, it's been a beautiful relationship because they've even provided us with a lot of opportunities that we may have never, you know, had if it wasn't
from across the country.
Wow.
Right, East to West Coast, huh?
Right. During the pandemic, there was a lot of people who lost their jobs. And so I Got the Mic for some of the people, even on our Philadelphia team, was something that it was something in your pocket, you know, during that tough time.
Yes.
So they just give a lot of hope, and you know, it stands for where art can occur. And so even though we're across the country and we fly out there for projects, you can create art wherever you are.
Yes.
So so the recent project that we're working on is called Black Terror, directed by Richard Lawson.
Okay.
And there was a partnership between Newark Symphony Hall and New Jersey. To give actors there some opportunities, as well as Los Angeles. And then we had some of our team members here in Philly fly out there to Los Angeles. So it was a nice blend of also Yendor Theater Company in Newark. So it's a partnership of these nonprofits and entities coming together for a great cause. And it's a topic about the play was written by Richard Wesley. It was originally a play called Black Terror, and it's unfortunate that the issues that happened in the late 70s is still happening today in Black communities.
Absolutely.
So that's what we're targeting in that film. And right now we're just kind of going around the country and having some type of conversations about it to kind of spark the conversation of, what can I say?
Change.
Absolutely. I really like that. I like how it seems like it's coming full circle for you ladies.
Yes.
When you guys started here in Philly and like just that giving back, like, you know, and now that they reached out, it feels like it was good karma. You know, coming your way. So I think that's beautiful. I really do.
That is amazing. Everything's full circle, you know. I do want to ask you, ladies, about Tobias. If you can tell me a little bit about your affiliation with Tobias.
Funny that you asked, because Tobias is actually starred in the film Black Terror. He's a star.
Look at that.
Look at that. It really does come full circle.
Right. And Tobias is definitely a great guy. His wife Michelle is also in the film.
Oh, very good.
Jersey.
And represent Jersey. I think we spent 37 days in Los Angeles filming, which was I think the longest we've been, you know, on a project out there, and loved every bit of it. LA is amazing.
Yes.
But the project brought so many people together and so many talented actors from both Los Angeles or East Coast and the West Coast together that I can't wait for it to come out. It's looking to drop next year.
Oh, very nice.
He has a very pivotal role in the conversation about, you know, Black communities and the issues that we face. As Lou mentioned earlier about we have police killing us, but then it's that part about how can we also better ourselves without giving too much away. So it's really a conversation piece. And to be honest, even amongst the cast and crew, we've had numerous conversations, and everyone has different thoughts and opinions. But if we're not having those conversations, it's like we can't really get to a solution.
Right.
So so Tobias's role on that project is pretty pivotal. His character, so I can't say too much, but
I got you. I understand. You gotta keep some things for the audience
to stay tuned for.
You'll see.
Nice. Okay, so I didn't want to take it back, but I do have a question about the upbringing with your grandparents. Do you guys think that if things would have been different, you guys would be as far along as you are? Like if you didn't have that struggle growing up, and you had that 2-parent household, how would things have?
I think that this our upbringing is entirely tied into one, who we are and our artwork. I think much of it is because of what we went through. And we have an interesting perspective. We always joke that we were born in '89, but we probably grew up in the '40s because, like, my grandma.
It's my year too, y'all.
Yes, but my grandmother was born in '38 and my grandfather in '32.
Oh, wow.
So if you can imagine, they're raising us and they saw 90 kids.
Right.
You know, so the dynamic was, you know, really interesting growing up. But like I would say, oh, I get my hair pressed, and people were like, pressed, and I'm like,
that.
No one says that.
I say that.
Right.
Okay.
We're from Texas.
Because here they were like there were certain words that my grandma would say, and people would like, and then I had to realize that, you know, the time period was different, or I'm picking up words that she would use. Right. A lot of the things we went through in that dynamic. We had lost our grandfather when we were 14 to lung cancer. And unfortunately, we were actually in a room when he had passed. So, like, there's so many different pain and trauma. But I think our artwork is driven by that to help someone else go through it. We were really quiet as kids. So it was like we never shared half our story. Like, a lot of people were still don't know. Right?
I was up there writing. You know, the average kid wanted to go out and play. They used to force us to go outside to play. Because we were like the opposite. But I think now it's like, oh, we get it. Y'all were being creative and artsy and expressing yourself that way. But also, growing up, most of my friends, all of us had our grandparents. I didn't know anyone really that I was close with that had a 2-parent household. So that was I didn't even realize
That was
Yeah,
normal.
that wasn't normal, you know, until like, you know, you get older and kids start asking questions. But, but yeah, I think so now the art, I think I realized in college telling my story helps somebody else.
Yeah,
absolutely. So now like your test is somebody else's your testimony, your test becomes your testimony.
Right.
For someone else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, so it's embedded in our work.
I did want to ask you real quick, Eli. You didn't mention Mill Creek earlier. Can you elaborate a little bit about what Mill Creek is and everything?
Yes. Mill Creek Community Partnership, MCCP.
Yeah.
I'm currently the new president of MCCP and new vice president. But it was founded by Cassandra Green. And we've been a part of the organization for probably over 15 years now in terms of our attachment to it. We started off...
Talk about full circle. The story that Eli's actually sharing, I didn't mean to cut you off, but we were 14 years old in the art program after my grandfather died.
Yes.
My grandma didn't know what to do. She took us to a program.
Yeah.
And here we are, I don't know if it's 17, 18 years later. I don't know how many years later, but now we're president and vice president of the organization.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Because that mentorship, it's... And I think that's where we, not to be sidetracked, but that's where we fell, is that we put these programs in place and then we just let the kids go. But Cassandra Green stayed with us. You know, we were 14 and we'll be 33 next month. So to still have that relationship is important. So anyway, NCCP, we focus on a lot of community service. We provide a lot of art classes. Our first love was visual arts before rap poetry and writing. We would paint and enter art competitions and whatnot. So that was like the visual arts that we started in. And so we provide that, you know, we try to provide free art classes, but we also have things for adults because adults can still tap into that creative space.
Right,
of course.
Resources. Resources for the community, like health resources and things like that. Just trying to give the community access to information that they need. So, we had our second annual MCCP Hip Hop and Jazz Fest, and we had headliner Philadelphia Freeway. This was like 2 weeks ago. So it's annual. But it's actually our fundraiser. We're really trying to get a space, a building, that we will be able to run the classes out of and allow artists a safe space to create and have support in the community. So that's the goal. So we're trying to raise funds for that.
Nice. That event, I'll just add, was really important to pull off. We were almost kind of shut down because of the violence in the city. Like our whole purpose was to, you know, take people away from that for a second and bring and unite us. And the very thing that we were trying to do and show people a nonviolent, you know, event that the violence was the thing that almost shut us down. And people were really kind of like, hey, you guys shouldn't do this. Philadelphia is dangerous.
Wow.
Everything went well. And there was a shooting, unfortunately, across the street from the location we had it a week before the event. Tiffany Fletcher, unfortunately, had lost her life. Right before. So,
and that playground that she lost her life is where our nonprofit Mill Creek actually hold art classes out of. So some of our members knew her and attended the funeral. So it kind of hit home. You know what I mean? Because the purpose we're doing this, and then that happens, and then for me, it just made the mission just much bigger. You know, her life was not in vain. I think what's going to be birthed out of such a tragedy is what we plan on doing next. And so I'm glad we weren't shut down because a lot of people didn't come, but we had a big crowd. We had a nice crowd. So I think, you know, it would have been bigger if it wasn't for that because people, you know, it just tears people away. But I think...
And the talent was amazing.
We
had jazz, hip-hop, Nia J was definitely in the building. We had over 70 talent touch the stage. And people were like,
you know, bands had multiple people.
So there were like 70 acts, but 70 band members, trumpet, saxophone, like anything you think of. It was an amazing outcome. And we know for sure that we're going to do it again. But just everything we went through just to pull for the team of Mill Creek and everyone who touched the project and pulling this off, we pulled it off. But yeah, we're definitely going to do it again, and it's something the community needs to see. And I'm glad the youth, it was young and old, so I'm glad the youth were able to see something positive and of high quality. It wasn't just like little talent show we do together.
You know how you go to those events in the city.
Like what is this? This was
we wanted it to be something
really special.
Back and to know that because you want the community to feel worthy. You know, it's not just thrown together. So it took some months to pull off, but we pulled it off.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you did mention Nia J. So how was that working with her, having her at that event?
So, just a long story short, we met Nia when she was, I want to say 7.
Oh, wow.
And the Book of Nimrod.
Web series.
Web series. She was led by Carla Morales. Rest in peace. She had passed away, but Carla, I would say she's like our film mom.
Yeah.
She was like one of the first to do it in the city, where she was like hammering out episodes, and Nia was the star of this project, and she was awesome at 7. I was joking her when we saw her earlier, and I was like, yeah, she was really professional. I think she was more professional than everybody else. She was so focused.
She never joked. It was like, I'm just focused on being.
She was always in character.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So to see her now, and she's rapping, and
we didn't know she did music then.
Right,
so it's not like,
right.
So
yes, she's rapping and singing, and she was on I Got the Mic, the show that we had, and the consensus there, or the team was like, she's going somewhere, and I'm like, I believe it. Every time I see her online, I'm just like, she's going somewhere. But she's multi-talented, and she's focused, and she's been doing this so long that I think she's a veteran now. But yeah, Nia, and to have her, Verbosity came out. I think the woman in hip hop at this event just spoke volumes, and the content was heavy. We were talking about the things that we see in everyday life, and the violence, and coming together, and it was just a beautiful moment to have all those ladies, in addition to the other talent, but to have to see women in hip hop also take the stage.
I was going to ask one more question before I give the floor to Pam. So I love how you guys are motivation for the community. What is some of the feedback you guys are getting from the Black men or the men in the community? How is that? Like, are they receptive to what you guys are doing as well?
Yeah. It's funny. I guess because, I don't know, whatever it is, when we go places, people aren't expecting when we rap for that to come out. And so it's funny getting the guys' reaction, when we do spit, and start rapping and whatnot. But what's nice about it is their support.
That's good.
And then I think when we try to create these programs, we need the men involved in these programs because that's who the young men are going to be able to look up to. And so they've been very supportive. Shout out to Derek Dean. You just have to have your village behind you. So yeah, that's basically.
Yeah, we're always impressed by men's reaction. I think when she was talking about Broken Tables, the biggest reaction came from men.
To see men crying in the audience
is
not something you see often.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I've never seen it. And it was
Yeah.
multiple. And it wasn't, we didn't, when we wrote it, we weren't expecting that.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody was
expecting that. We were just touching on family dynamic and the relationships between mother and daughter, daughter and son, sister and brother. Like, so many
father and
things.
son hit the hardest.
Was like,
I bet.
It hit the hardest.
Yeah.
So getting the feedback from that just let us know that we're doing something right.
Right.
And we're going to bring Broken Tables back. The pandemic got in the way, but we'll find a way to bring that back.
If they are coming back, Broken Tables is going to make its resurgence, you guys.
Do y'all have any plans in the future as far as like doing tours in different states and, just making this a worldwide phenomenon?
Yes. I think it's so many different areas for us to go into other areas and to travel from. Stage play, we definitely want to travel with Broken Tables. We want to film in so many different areas because Philadelphia is a beautiful place.
Yeah.
But you also have farms and all the things that we don't typically see in our city. It's just to get people to expand, their minds when it comes to filmmaking, not just, the backyard.
Right.
In terms of music, Sound Mind, we started kind of traveling. We were in LA, we were in DC, showing our films and then having conversation pieces about discussions about the topics and content in there. So yeah, Eli Lu should be, hopefully next year we
kind of started, like she said, we went to DC, LA. Actually, actor Richard Lawson moderated our screening in LA at the Wake Up Theater Center, which was a blessing. To be able to, it's nice to take your work outside of the city and see what other people think about it.
Yes,
but more so, we were having we would screen some of the films because obviously 12 is kind of long. But we would screen some of them and we'll talk to the audience about the topics.
Nice.
So one of the things that we're trying to get away from is just showing the film and walking away. But now we're showing the films and actually talking to the audience to kind of get that feedback. So it's going to create more content for us later because you start to hear what the audience is thinking and saying and what we need more of. So, we take all that information in and then we create something
right. That way it never stops.
Right.
It's like constant flow of creativity.
Right.
I love it. Well, what is next for Eli and Eli Lu? What's next for y'all?
Yes. The relaunch of the Film Factory.
Yes.
In November. And then we're still working on some film projects.
Okay.
And then we are in the process of writing some new scripts.
Ooh.
That's
Okay.
exciting.
That's
Get
like
back
one
to
of my favorite
writing.
parts, yeah.
We were like, we're gonna do nothing in December but write.
Right.
I don't know if that's gonna go as planned.
Yeah.
That's the plan for now.
Right, that's the plan.
When is y'all's birthdays?
November 8th.
Said it at the same time.
November 8th. Okay. I'm December 7th, same year, 89. So I was like, we don't want to be
okay.
like 33 coming up. Nice.
Right.
Well, it was a pleasure, ladies.
Absolutely.
Y'all are lovely, a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
We really love what y'all are doing. And I mean, I got to say, this is really what Dynasty Queens is all about.
Absolutely.
You know, they are bringing it, representing the women in a positive light. We
So
love it.
empowering.
I mean, it touches, y'all story touches me. I know it touches
Thank you.
you, and
Yeah,
it's going to
for
touch
sure.
the viewers. So we appreciate you ladies for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank
And I
you
do
for
want
the
to ask you, where can everyone find you at? What are your
always-
Which is this?
She
song?
only So, okay, let me make sure I get this right. Okay, so you guys can find us on Instagram at Eli Lu Twins. We're Eli Lu Entertainment on Twitter, Eli Lu Entertainment on Facebook, Eli Lu Twins on Facebook. We have Spotify, we have Apple, Eli Lu Sound Mind. So if you just search Eli Lu, I think we're the only ones out there. You see somebody that don't look like us, and not us. Eli Lu Entertainment, you'll find us.
Nice.
Everything she said.
I love it. Y'all represent your city very well.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you
Thank you.
for your time.
And thank you all for this platform.
Absolutely.
That's what we're here to do.
Continue inspiring.
Right.
'Cause You've
Yeah.
inspired me.
Yeah,
Like I told you
same,
earlier,
same.
you know, y'all have a lot to say, and it's beautiful to see people in the community that really do care about everything.
Thank you.
So yes. Thanks for tuning in. And of course, let's thank again the Eli Lu Twins for being on the show, ladies. Thank you so much.
And just signing off, another wonderful episode of Dynasty Queens. Yours truly, Nia J.
And Pamela Nicole. Until next time, see ya.
See y'all later.